again, it's my pleasure to introduce Ellen Barrett, Chair of the new Resident Orientation Committee. Ellen, good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. And once again, it looks like we're roaring into another success. I see 30 participants online right now, and there are always a few that come up a little later. The only thing I really want to say this morning is that if anyone wants copies of the slides, I'll put my email back in the chat room, just so that it makes it easy. We can, I don't know what slides we're going to have from today's meeting because there are a whole group of you all that are doing things, but and some information has already been forwarded to you in the notification for the Zoom meeting. So maybe I won't get any requests, but I'm always happy to send them out to you. Other than that, because we've been such a success, we will continue Zoom calls for this Life at the Forest for this season. We're not going to be able to transfer ourselves over to the auditorium. So the good news is it's been a real success on Zoom, and everybody can just arrive no matter how they're dressed, and then they can pop over to an OLLI class at 11, and it's been working really, really well. So we're all pleased with the success, and I hope you all are too. We always will take criticisms or good comments. That's about all I have to say this morning. And I'm turning it back to, I'm not quite sure who. Megan? Oh, Sandy?
Okay. We'll figure it out. So Megan's going to share the screen for all of us. We're going to begin speaking. Again, I apologize if I'm distracted. I'm going to let everyone in so they can get this good information. But Megan will start sharing in just a minute, and I'll get going. But again, I'm Sandy Morris, Director of Resident Life at the Forest at Duke. I've been at the Forest for a little over 9 years, and I've been very happy to be here. Megan, are you sharing the screen?
Ms. Vail, did you have anything you wanted to say before?
Just to welcome everyone. Today we're going to focus on activities and fitness, and we're going to have speakers. Sandy is going to represent the Department of Resident Life, and Megan herself is going to talk about the activities program. Sherry about the fitness program, and I will be speaking to you as Director of Resident Services for the Residence Board about all of the different activities in which you might become involved. So it's a long program, but you have already heard about who we are and what we do. So let's get started. I think Sandy is going to be the first up, right? No?
Yep. Thanks, Jean. Thanks for that. All right. Megan, if you want to go to the next slide. So again, I'm Sandy Morris. The Department of Resident Life oversees activities, events and programs, fitness. At some point again, we'll offer non-medical transportation for outings into this greater community. And we also work on volunteerism, both on our campus and away from campus. Next slide. So the Department of Resident Life, our responsibility is to promote overall well-being among independent living residents at the Forest at Duke. We do this with great enthusiasm and some creativity, and we use the 8 dimensions of wellness and resident collaboration as a guide. Later in the program, you'll see a slide that lists all of the resident committees, so you'll get a sense of how many different points of input we have. I do want to talk a little bit about the 8 dimensions of wellness. Next slide, please. The Forest at Duke has a Keep Growing program that encompasses the 8 different dimensions of wellness. You'll see we developed the 8 dimensions under Keep Growing into action words such as keep being, keep learning. We encourage residents to keep doing. Community-based wellness programs came out of university campuses in the 1970s and are now a vital part of senior living. The concepts of community wellness have grown to 8 dimensions, and they are generally recognized as those you see on the screen. Again, we use these dimensions to guide our programs, so we try to make sure that we are including opportunities for all of you to participate in events that promote emotional wellness, intellectual wellness, occupational wellness, physical, social, spiritual, environmental, and cultural wellness. And we recognize not everyone gets jazzed up about all 8 of these things. Megan, Sherry, and I do. We have presented on this topic to colleagues around the nation and senior living and wellness communities, but we do try to create opportunities. So if there's something you're particularly interested in, you can find something for yourself at the Forest. Next slide, please. The Department of Resident Life is small but mighty. There are 5 of us. You'll hear from 3 of us today. You'll see myself, Sherry Sampson, and Meghan Rodriguez. Kelsey Fry and Glenn Arrington round out our department, and Meghan will speak to their roles a little later. Next slide. We also work really closely with our health and wellness activities team. Jen Key is the manager in the health center for activities, and Kristen Fuller assists her. We were just on a conference call talking about Halloween and how we can do something that seems like a community later this month. Next slide. Like I mentioned, resident input is vital to the work that we do. Formally, we meet with the Activities Committee, which is chaired by Mac Miller. He's a part of the Residents Association Board. That committee, and you'll see typically, meets on the 2nd Wednesday of each month. We have suspended meetings for the time being. We met last month. We'll meet again in a couple more months. But our department continues to work very closely and regularly with its subcommittees, including the Holiday Subcommittee, the OLLI Subcommittee, the Laughter Crafters, and more. So just because we're not meeting right now as often in person, those channels of communication remain open. Our current focus, and let me back up by saying this is a very different presentation than we gave the last time we did Life at the Forest. We were really able to dazzle people with the number of activities and outings that we did. Now things are a little bit different, as they are everywhere in the world. But I do just want to speak briefly to what our current focus is. And an important part of how we're getting things done at the Forest right now, the reservation process. First, just to assure you, our current focus, the main focuses are threefold. We're focusing on improving and using Channel 1390 to the best of our abilities. If you tuned into the executive staff update 2 weeks ago, I spoke a lot about how we're working on visual and audio improvements to that channel, but we recognize that being able to connect virtually and at a distance is going to remain important. So bringing Channel 1390 up to standard remains a focus. Another focus of ours is program inclusiveness. While many of you are on Zoom today, Zoom is a technology barrier for some. So as often as is possible, we want to make programs dually available on YouTube for people to access navigating the web, and also on Channel 1390. You don't need any computer tech experience. Most of us know all too well how to turn on a television these days. When I say inclusiveness, not only do I mean making sure technology remains accessible for all of our residents, but comfort level is really important too. We've started with some in-person gatherings. We were doing some outdoor exercise classes and social gatherings. We're going to continue into the foreseeable future to maintain those same services online, either in YouTube, on YouTube, Channel 1390. We recognize not everyone is ready to get together, and we want to make sure that we're providing just as many opportunities for people who want to connect to the community, but not in person. And then, so that's really what we're focusing on now. It used to be numbers, quality and quantity. Now there's going to be a lot of repetition and reaching people and make sure people are comfortable with the platforms we're programming on. I am a believer in not a lot of words on slides, but the next 2 slides, I'm going to break that rule because I think this is important information. I want to talk about the reservation process. Again, because head counts are so essential to maintain right now, most events that we are hosting right now require a head count, require a reservation. Sherry's going to talk about the fitness center more in depth, but just to take you through the reservation process. This information is also available in print on the Keeping Busy table, which is a table we've set up in the community center, or you can get in touch with any of us. We're happy to email you a copy if you don't want to come to the building or if you're traveling somewhere. So the pool, gym, and fitness classes are available by reservation. The pool and gym are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by reservation. It is a popular place to be, so we have a firm start date for when we start accepting reservations for the week ahead, and that is Thursdays at noon. You can call or email the Department of Resident Life and request your hour-long slots for the following week. Again, I'll leave our contact information up at the end of this presentation. You can make up to 3 reservations a week in the gym and up to 3 reservations a week in the pool. That's not gym and pool combined. It's for each space, 3 reservations in the gym, up to 3 in the pool. The reason we are able to increase access to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is because we're relying on residents to clean up after yourself once you're finished using equipment. It's probably also a very good idea to clean up before yourself because we all have a personal cleanliness level. Staff continues to deep clean these spaces on a daily basis, but between appointments, we're asking residents to participate in that cleanup. Just a reminder that you must wear a mask whenever you're not exercising strenuously, or of course, when you're in the pool. It is not advisable to wear a cloth face mask in the pool. Finally, just a reminder that arriving early for your reservation or staying beyond your reservation time is not allowed. It is the kind, neighborly thing to do to be prompt and leave on time. For the community center spaces, they're also available by reservation. This includes Taproot, art studio, and the living room. Many resident groups are using these for meeting and for social spaces. These spaces are also available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by reservations. This is a less trafficked space, so we accept reservations any business day for the same day, week, or the week ahead. Only 1 group per area at a time. So the living room, for instance, has a maximum capacity of 8 residents. We won't accept a reservation for 2 different groups of 4. We want to make sure that everyone who's meeting in these spaces knows who will be in there with them and is comfortable with that group. You've all talked and agreed upon rules of engagement. So only 1 group in those areas at a time. Taproot is divided into 2 areas, the club room and the billiard space. And again, you must clean up after yourself. And because these are considered common spaces, you must wear a mask when in these spaces. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sherry, who will do a deep dive into fitness.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Sherry. You can go ahead and advance to the next slide, Megan. And I'm the fitness manager. I've met most of you, but I do see some new faces. But I'd like to start by introducing you to all of our instructors. While I teach a lot of the classes that we offer here, we have a whole team of instructors with different expertise and background. Everything from cardio strength, typical aerobics classes to Tai Chi and yoga and various dance classes. We really have a great team of very experienced instructors. And let's go ahead and go to the schedule slide. So this is what our schedule looks like in March. We still have a lot of classes going on, but as Sandy mentioned, some are on 1390 and on Zoom, of course, like this. And as well as we have a lot of all the classes that we've recorded that are on 1390 are also accessible on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist, a fitness playlist called Keep Moving. So if anyone wants more information about that, please contact me and I'll make sure you have that link for YouTube. You can do the classes anytime you'd like. But we have a really full schedule now, and we did in person back in the spring with various levels of classes. And I'll just give you, for those of you who knew, just a quick overview of the levels. We have levels 1 through 3. All the level 1 classes are in health and wellness, and those are all completely seated classes. Level 2 is a combination of seated and standing. And then level 3 is our most vigorous active classes. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. We can go to the next slide. So class sizes are limited to allow for social distancing. We are doing in-person aqua classes right now in the pool and some outdoor balance classes. They all require sign up. We are hoping to add more classes in the future. We're not quite there yet. Again, and as Sandy said, even when we do start to add more live classes, we will continue to offer options for Zoom and keep classes on 1390 and YouTube as well. So hopefully we can meet everyone where they are comfort-wise. And go ahead and go to the next slide. Thanks. And yes, for those of you that are new, and if you haven't done your orientation with me, please contact me and we'll make sure you get all the appropriate forms and I can answer any questions you may have about which classes may be appropriate for you, or if you need any instruction on the machines in the gym. If you're interested in using the equipment in the gym, we can set up a time to do that as well. Okay. So again, here's a list of all the classes that we offer at the Forest. And some of those are not running at this time, but a lot of them are. If you ever have suggestions or questions about a class that you may want to see, we'd love to hear about that. And like for instance, right now we're through Zoom, since you can do this from anywhere, we're offering a class provided at Carroll Woods, which is a community not too far away, and as kind of a reciprocal relationship, they also have access to some of our Zoom classes. So, you know, we've learned how to expand our offerings even more through Zoom and through some of these other modalities. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. And Sandy went over a lot of this already, but if you have questions, please let me know. We are thrilled to be able to have our gym and pool open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We also have a group exercise studio, which is where we were teaching all those live classes, and we have an opportunity for you to use that room. Some people come and make a reservation and work on their international dancing. Some people come to play table tennis. We have table tennis set up in that room. Or if you just want a quiet space to do some stretching or yoga, that's also an option. So 3 main spaces in the group exercise studio. I'm sorry, in the fitness center. The group exercise studio, the gym, as well as the pool. And our locker rooms are available. We have showers and brand new suit spinners to dry off those wet bathing suits. So we're thrilled about that. And cleaning supplies are provided, but we are asking that you clean any equipment that you come in contact with. And again, those reservations Thursdays, anytime after noon. And I will say, you know, we do make an effort to confirm your reservation on that same day, but we do continue checking and returning calls, of course, even through the weekend. Thanks, Megan. We do offer personal training. Some of our contractors are also certified personal trainers. trainers. And how that works, if you're interested in personal training, we connect you with them. You are also welcome to bring in another personal trainer that you may know, from a recommendation or from the community. And all of that scheduling and payment is handled between you and your personal trainer. But Cheryl, our yoga instructor, even does some one-on-one yoga training. And then Julia and Carol do some general fitness personal training. There's a couple more things on this slide. We do even offer swim lessons as well. Just some reminders about the pool. We have a beautiful aquatic center. We do really encourage you to wear your Respond pendants, those white bracelets with the blue button. Some people even wear them on a necklace or secure them to their bathing suit. But they are waterproof, so we like to remind you of that. We do really encourage you to always swim with a friend. If you would like to swim with another person, but maybe you don't have another swim friend in mind, please contact us and we can sometimes help you connect with another resident who may like to swim at a similar time. Or water classes are a great option as well. We have a great spa. The jets are set on a 12-minute timer, so that kind of keeps you in check with your time limit. And of course, if we ever have one of those great summer storms, we'd like to remind everyone that we do want you to get out of the pool area for thunder or lightning. And we ask you to wait 30 minutes from that last thunder or lightning before re-entering. Here's some pictures of some great recreational opportunities we have at the forest, seated volleyball, croquet, billiards, and lots of dance opportunities. Obviously, well, we are doing billiards now, but some of the other ones are on hold for the moment. And some of our past off-campus excursions, everything from kayaking, canoeing, bowling. You may see a little red elf car around campus that belongs to one of our residents, and that came out of doing a visit and some test rides at the local manufacturer in Durham. We have an on-campus walking group called the Walkie Talkies, and that is for folks looking for a walking buddy. You can meet up 9 a.m. in the lobby or just outside the lobby on Saturday mornings, and these reminders are in your Forest Forwards. We are not doing our off-campus Striders hiking group at the moment, other than because it does require transportation, but that's a group where we were doing 2 off-campus hikes each month, usually on Wednesday afternoons at some of the local state parks, county parks, local trails, all levels, all paces. That's a big question I get about that one is, how far do you go? How fast do you go? And the good thing about the way we organize that group is, we all get there at the same time and we have a time that we agree to meet up. So some folks will just take a little walk and go relax on a bench. Others will try to get in, as many miles as they can. So it's really just, and sometimes people break into smaller groups based on pace, but it's really welcoming for all fitness levels. So we encourage you to try that again when we have that up and running. We've even done some day trips to Pilot Mountain and Hanging Rock, which have been really great experiences. I know some of you are on the call that have participated in some of those. Okay, moving on. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right, so I'm going to take over. My name is Meghan Rodriguez, and I am the Activities Program Manager at the Forest. I am the primary planner for all non-fitness events and programs scheduled, and I also can help you if you need a room reserved. I'm your main contact. Working on our team is Glenn Arrington. He has been here since he's a pioneer, so he's been here for 28 years now, and he oversees room setups, responds to the activities main phone line, and provides non-medical transportation when we offer it, and a lot more. You are sure to see him buzzing around campus, getting all of his to-do list accomplished and with a smile on his face. And then we've got Kelsey Fry. She's our activities coordinator. She's a little bit newer. She's been here about 6 months now. And the activities coordinator provides administrative support, supports resident communications, and hosts events. So she works really closely with me and with our whole team, and is a huge, huge help. She's also going to be the main contact for our new Viibrant online portal, which you'll hear a little bit more about later in my presentation. So we have 6 different calendar and reminder systems to communicate the forest programs that we offer. The first is the calendar. This is a behind the scenes calendar that we use to book all of the different rooms and spaces that we use for programs. If you call to reserve a space for a meeting that you're going to have or a program, then it's going to go on here. It's how we make sure that we're not overbooking ourselves. So it's a very important living, breathing document that we use. Next is our At a Glance monthly calendar. We've brought this back. This went away for a few months when COVID first came, but we've started to bring it back. And this lists everything that we're offering, both in person, on Zoom, on channel 1390, and then eventually when we start offering transportation outings into the community, that will all be listed on here. If you see an asterisk next to anything, oops, that means that it requires you to sign up in order to participate. And right now, that's going to be pretty much everything, especially in-person programs will all require sign up. Then we've got our Forest Forward that I'm sure you've all seen before. This highlights upcoming programs and information. This comes out weekly, usually on Thursday for the following week, and the information runs Friday to the following Thursday. Here we have our in-house TV channel 1390, which if you take your remote to your TV and you put in 1390, it should come to a channel that looks like this, that has different slides on it telling you what's going on for the day. There might be an announcement slide on there. This also offers audio description of what each slide says every 30 minutes if you want to be able to hear the slide content. This channel also shows live broadcasted and pre-recorded programs, as well as the movies that we show on channel 1390. You've probably seen the Touchtown digital panels that are throughout the community center. There's one outside of the auditorium, there's one by the mailboxes behind the front desk, and there's a few others in other places. This is gonna, again, show all the slides of programs that are happening each day, as well as some announcements. These don't show the videos and movies like your in-house TV channel does. And then this is our newest and most exciting option, which we will be rolling out to the community at large very shortly. It's the Viibrant online portal. And this is going to be replacing the other means of communication, well, some of them, not the ones that I've gone through, but this is an online portal. It will have all the information for events and programs that we're offering, as well as this will be how you actually register for those programs and events. So you'll have a lot more information about this very shortly so that you will be able to test it out and then eventually use this live for signing up for programs and events. And again, almost all of the programs currently require you to register ahead of time to attend. So just remember that. It's a little bit of a change from how things used to be. All right. Okay. Now on to transportation, which at the moment we are not doing any outings into the community, but that may be happening, that will be happening again at some point. So some information for you for when we do get that started again. If you see the trip time, if you see a time on the calendar or in the Forest Forward or anywhere, if it's an outing, that's going to be the depart time. So that is when we actually, the bus is pulling out of the parking lot. So you're going to want, we ask everybody that signed up to show up 15 minutes ahead of that depart time so that we can check you in, we can give you tickets if we need to, all that kind of stuff. All of our vehicles are accessible, so they either have a ramp or they have a lift. So when you're signing up for transportation, you're going to want to indicate if you wish to remain in your wheelchair, if you use a wheelchair during transit. And if you do, then your wheelchair is going to serve as your seat for the ride to the venue and back. Obviously, it'll be secured to the bus safely and you'll have a seat belt. But we will not save an additional seat for you if you indicate that you're going to stay in your wheelchair for the ride. If there's more than one vehicle that goes on a trip, which there often is, especially for our larger concerts and performances, then we ask that you please return on the same vehicle which you left. That just really helps us with making sure we have everybody. We're never going to leave anyone behind, so it's really important to remember, you know, to once the performance or concert or trip is over, to come back to the bus as fast as you can so that we aren't looking around for you, waiting for you, and we can get back to the forest. We currently provide transportation to about 15 seasonal series, and I've listed them here. Things like the Carolina Ballet, the DPAC Broadway series, all kinds of different sporting events, symphony. You would be responsible for purchasing your tickets, and then we are responsible for getting you there. So if you're not a seasonal ticket holder, you don't buy tickets to the entire season, that's fine. You can still ask for or sign up for transportation to the 1 or 2 concerts or events that you do have tickets for and use the transportation that everyone else is using. All right, and now we are on to other resident services, and I will give it back to Sandy. And Sandy, you're muted.
Thanks. And before I move on to those, I do just want to say a few things about the series. We recognize that performing arts have been impacted, and we're really proud of the partnership we've been able to start with 4 Seasons Music Festival, modeled after our program with Ollie. All of these organizations are figuring out how to reach their audience, and we're very happy to be guinea pigs for corporate memberships to bring all of these programs to the forest. So onward. I'll speak briefly about other resident services because Jean Vale is very knowledgeable, and you'll hear a lot of really passionate things about these great volunteer-led organizations from her. But part of resident life's responsibility and joy is to work with the library committee. We also work very closely with the gift shop committee. The gift shop is currently closed, but we are continuing to keep in touch with each other about next steps. And Resident Life also sees the hair salon, which is not run by volunteers, which is fortunate. The hair salon is currently open by appointment. Christina does hair services, cut, wash, trim, set. She also provides nail services. And if you need her number, if you call the front desk, they will redirect you. Finally, I did brag a little bit earlier about the number of resident committees we have. So I always love putting this slide up there. Currently, we're working with Eunice Grossman, resident Eunice Grossman, and her committee to identify the Volunteer of the Year. That's an annual recognition that the Forest hosts. And as you can see, we have no shortage of wonderful candidates. So if you have an interest, there's probably a home for you. If there's not, let's work together to create one. With that, in closing for our presentation, just a couple reminders for you. We are in the midst of International Active Aging Week, which we're celebrating all month long. It celebrates the 8 dimensions of wellness. Sherry Sampson has put together a great program for you. Please stop by the Keeping Busy table for handouts and inspiration. And again, just a reminder of our reservation procedures and our fitness and activity schedules. All of these are available by contacting any of us. Our general department contact information is on the slide now. Please get in touch. We're happy to get information into your hands. So with that, join us, and I'm going to hand it over to Jean Vale here. Megan's going to do a little switcheroo with the slides, but it is my distinct pleasure to always work with Jean Vale and now to reintroduce her.
Thank you so much, Sandy. My position on the Residents Association Board is to be Director of Resident Services Committee. And rather than a single committee, the Resident Services is a collection of ongoing projects within the forest on which groups of residents focus their talents and energies for the benefit of fellow residents. Participating in one of these much appreciated enterprises is a great way to become involved and develop friendships with others with whom you share common interests. Slide 2 and 3 list in alphabetical order the various services. And as we zip through the slides that show the ways residents serve other residents at the forest, you might make some mental notes of where you would enjoy becoming involved. Megan has emailed to new residents some printable information, which includes a list of all of these committees and the contact persons for each one of them. Alphabetically, we begin with the next slide with the Diversity and Inclusion Collaborative. This slide shows Myrna Adams and Joe Harvard, the co-chairs. In the words of its founder, Judith Shannon, the Diversity and Inclusion Collaborative seeks to contribute to empathy and understanding of diverse populations and to promote the benefits that flow from diversity and inclusion. Volunteers on the collaborative organize outreach and informational programs that introduce residents to new perspectives and diverse populations. You would be most welcome to join them. The next slide shows the interior of the ENCORE store. Housed in the nether regions of this building, this resale shop is a convenient venue to cycle forward your no longer needed household items. And now we see a picture of Abby Saffold, and under her enthusiastic leadership, proceeds from the sale of the merchandise in the ENCORE store goes to the benevolent fund. The next shows the list of types of merchandise, and there is an emailed handout that came to you that gives you more information, including how to make donations to the store. And next, the pile of the ever popular costume jewelry. And our patrons come eagerly to see what has been donated to the costume jewelry department. Finally, the location and hours of the ENCORE store. It's currently closed, of course, but one day we'll return to these hours. Next is the gift shop. which shows the interior thereof. And then the slide shows Jackie Casey and Marilyn Hogle. Jackie is the general manager of the gift shop, while the rotating resident staff is ably scheduled by Marilyn Hogle. This would be a fun place for new residents to become involved, and they will need volunteers. Our next slide shows Lynn Langmeyer, who has recently assumed the role of resident buyer. She eagerly awaits the reopening of the shop. And then we have some of the items that you'll find available there. And next, when we reopen, this information will pertain. And we move on now to the health and wellness volunteer. This slide lists the co-chairs, and here they are pictured, Carol McGuire and China Ganguly. Access by visitors to the health and wellness area is currently restricted. But when once again possible, this is a wonderful place to offer companionship. Next, we see Shirley Sukonik escorting Carol Scott to an Ollie Great Decisions discussion. Just one of the examples of opportunities you might pursue when the time is right to be helpful to the residents of health and wellness. Our library, here's a picture of the interior thereof. Our head librarian, Carol Reese, leads the volunteers who oversee the functioning of our beautiful library, which is located just off the rotunda. Care is taken to be responsive to resident interests as the collection is constantly updated, edited, and expanded. And the next slide lists the collections there. And the next one, the slide shows the normal location and hours. New hours are in place during the COVID restrictions, and they are posted outside the library, but you do have access to it now. The lobby flower arrangers. Lots of variety and imagination is demonstrated by the volunteers who create these arrangements on a rotating basis. Delightful diversion for those who enjoy working with flowers. And we are indebted to Kathleen Allen and Doug Whitfield, who chair that program. Next, you have met before Ellen Barrett, who is the chair of the new Residence Orientation Committee, responsible for this Life at the Forest series, as well as the Mentors Program and Welcome Dinners, and they are all chaired by Ellen Barrett. It is devoted to making new residents feel welcome to the forest and helping you become as involved in the community as you would like to be. Our publications, first is The Forester, and the slide shows editors Joe Mooney, Dean McCumber, George Williams, and Shannon Purvis surrounding the managing editor, Sharon Dexter. And because I'm deeply indebted to him, I want you to know that Dean McCumber, the second from the left in this picture, is responsible as well for this PowerPoint presentation, well beyond my scope of expertise. This slide lists the Forester content categories. You'll come to look forward as much as I do to this almost monthly publication, which showcases the diverse literary talents of our residents. Perhaps you'd like to contribute. The Pictorial Directory, this slide shows an array of past directories. The residents and staff all depend on the contents of this annual publication. Next slide. Here we have them listed. And the staff, Judy Vick coordinates the publication. Ralph Nelson is the computer guru who handles the layout. And Richard Ellman, the newly volunteered photographer. The Volunteer Friends Program, the slide pictures Sue Okubo and Judy Vick again. The slide describes the mission of the program, currently on hold because of the virus. In normal times, the Volunteer Friends program gives you the assurance that in an emergency, you won't be on your own. A fellow resident will meet you at the emergency room or, if you wish, accompany you to a medical procedure that requires your having a driver. And finally, the Forest at Duke Residents Association website. A third handout is emailed to you that explains how to access the website and what you'll find there. And the next slide shows Bob Dix, our resident guru for the website. All of these handouts that I referred to, I would, if they did not come to you as an email attachment, please let me know and I'll be happy to see that you get them. And miscellaneous ways that residents are involved in helping other residents. The caucuses, which is another committee of the Residents Association. Residents' Choice Book, which will be revamped in the beginning of next year. The Confidant book, we need an overseer for that, in which people can tell about the progress of someone who is ill according to their wishes. And then there is an information station with pamphlets and so forth in the fountain room. All of these are ways that residents help other residents, and we are indebted to all of them for their contributions. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jean. So with that, we're going to open up to questions. We got several in the chat, so some of them were private. So I'm just going to go in order that they were received. First, Sherry, a question for you. Can you, someone asked if there are walk-ins allowed in the gym. Can you talk about that process?
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. So by walk-ins, they mean, you know, if they don't have a reservation, can they do a walk-in? And that is allowed. We encourage you to make reservations, of course, but certainly if you go by the gym or the pool, we have the reservations for the day posted. And especially someone just asked me this morning, they said, you know, I'm going to take a look and just see when I might be able to pop in later because they had some appointments they weren't sure how long would go. So yes, that is totally fine. Someone even asked if they do a walk-in, should they let us know that they came at that time? And that would be great too, just in case there's ever an issue and we need to go back and see who is there at a certain time. That would be great, but walk-ins are allowed.
Thanks, Sherry. We had a resident ask also if we provide transportation to Durham Bulls games, and the answer is yes, we do. We provide transportation to select games during the season. Certainly, if we get enough super fans, we'd love to add that to our series transportation list. That's just not been the case. We've also done combined staff and resident trips to the Bulls game before, and those are a lot of fun. So one day. We had another question in chat, a predicted opening for the ENCORE store. And I don't have one, but Jean, did you want to speak to the conversations you've had with Nathan or April about finding a way to make that work, or is that still
still very much in limbo? I think we're just waiting for the security to be to permit us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're on a caution mode and being very careful. Sorry about that, because we all are eager to have it happen, but we don't know when it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jean. And then another question I got, and Jean, this is another question for you. Is the Forester offered electronically?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Does anyone else want to know? I don't believe so. The Forester, no, I don't think so. I think it's too long actually to be, but it is just an absolutely marvelous production. I love looking forward to it.
Oh, Sharon
Sharon?
Dexter. She would definitely know.
Oh, there she is.
It is available, and in fact, on Bob Dix's, the forest website where various things are available, every month is available. There's a PDF, and if you contact one of us, we can send a PDF to you.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
a-
Sharon.
So that website Jean Vale mentioned, and I believe in your email invitation to this Zoom link, the instructions on how to access that were attached. The Forester is there.
Okay.
Those are all the questions I received in chat. Does anyone else have a question for us? Okay. Well, hopefully you know how to find us if you do have any questions. Thank you so much for being here today. Ellen, did you have anything you wanted to say to wrap up? Are you good? Keep putting you on the spot.
No, I have nothing really to say other than I did put on in the chat room my email address. I assume you all might see that. But it's ebarrettsc@me.com if you want copies of the slides, which somehow I assume, Megan, you will send me an electronic copy of the slides so I can forward them. Okay, thanks.
Right.
And thank you all for attending. Oh my goodness, thank you. I mean, this program has been such a success. It's only because of you all. So really, well, and Resident Life, let me just say. Thank you, Resident Life, also for making this happen so smoothly. That's it from Ellen.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Ellen. Bye.